Nuggets 5-2 with a 2-1 lead in best-of-7 series. Thunder still amassing critical experience. They were looking forward to this matchup, in fact, against Denver, hoping and knowing that the Nuggets would bring out the best in them. And Jokic will bring it across, working against Hartenstein. Last time out, they ran a little action for Murray. This time, it's a post-up for Jokic. They're sitting on his right hand. Here's Murray from outside. And that one caroms off the front rim.
Well, that's what Denver wants to do. They gave a little cross screen, low cross to get Nikola Jokic isolated down in the low post, but you have to keep the floor space.
Boy, somebody hit the snooze bar on that open three defensively by Williams. He couldn't convert. Here's Porter Jr. wide open at the other end. And he shoots an air ball. Important to note, though, you see that heavy wrap on his left shoulder that he's trying to work out right there. He's been playing with a shoulder that he cannot lift above his head.
Well, you have to give Michael Porter Jr. a ton of credit for gutting it out in game 3. 21 points, 8 rebounds, 5 of 6 from 3. Maybe he needs a hand in his face to make a shot.
Holmgren from deep. That one rims out, tipped to Gilgeous-Alexander. And another opportunity, gonna try and walk down Brown. No whistle. And here comes Jokic. Jokic just 8 for 25 in game 3. Gordon got peeled and ripped clean by Williams, playing with a little bit of pace here.
But great hands by Jalen Williams to knock that away.
Gilgeous-Alexander on Porter Jr. Great pocket pass into the dunker spot. And the first field goal of the game goes to Chet Holmgren.
Isaiah Hartenstein makes great decisions out of those short roll situations. He's got that left-handed floater that we've talked about, but he's also an excellent passer, playmaker out of a short roll.
At the other end, guarding Jokic. Murray on the DHO action. Baseline pass to Gordon. Gordon shooting a career high from 3. That one's short. Loose ball. Murray guarded by Dort. A couple of Canadian national team teammates, and that one rattles out. Fans here at Ball Arena historically stand until the team makes its first field goal. Holmgren trying to keep them standing for a while with the miss.
As Isaiah Hartenstein, after setting this little screen, just gets a short roll, catches around the free throw line. He draws Jamal Murray as a defender and able to just dish it off because he's such an alert passer to Chet Holmgren, who, as you pointed out, was right in that baseline dunker spot.
But great defense by Jalen Williams, a.k.a. J-Dub. The other Jalen Williams is Jay Will.
I thought Oklahoma City's defense in game 3 was excellent. It's just that Denver made so many incredibly difficult shots that were contested, especially Michael Porter Jr. A little split action off the elbow and challenged by Jalen Williams late. You know, you really have to get to Michael Porter Jr. on the catch because he's 6'10", and when he gets that ball above his head, it's really difficult to bother that shot. He just gave a rear view mirror flyby and really bothered it.
Great defense by Jalen Williams, coming off a playoff career high 32 in game 3. Brown hounding Gilgeous-Alexander. There's the lob, and that's going to be a foul first on Jokic. They put him in space on some ball screen action. That's been one of their points of emphasis. That's going to be his first personal foul.
Well, Jokic is upset because it was offense-initiated contact, but he wasn't in legal guarding position. Look how he's sideways with them. So there's nothing wrong with the offense initiating that contact. That's just smart by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander when he's got an angle and he's got Jokic out of position, out of that ball screen, to draw that foul.
Gilgeous-Alexander. Lou Dort pulls the 3, and both teams with some early cold shooting. Now 1 of 7 for OKC. They got 1 of 6. Williams switched on to Jokic. Porter Jr. on the drive, blocked at the rim but fouled on the drive, and that time an imperious move by MPJ.
Just a really good drive by Michael Porter Jr. off the closeout. And part of the reason was he caught the ball on the run. He didn't catch it just stationary and then had to put it on the deck. You can't, in my judgment, can't overstate how much guts and toughness he showed in game 3. Games 1 and 2, he wasn't very productive in large measure because, as you pointed out, he can't really lift both arms over his head because of that injured left shoulder.
Is it tough to play basketball that way?
I think it would be. But for him, I mean, he knocked down shots early, but he was diving on the floor, and he grabbed 8 rebounds, a couple of them two-handed rebounds. He was very, very good.
Master of the mid-range, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with his first field goal. His team up by 4.
The quicker Oklahoma City can get the ball up the court, the more opportunities SGA is going to have to attack the defense.
Here's Gordon on the edge. Jokic out top. Off the brush screen by Gordon. Got to the rim and blocked by Hartenstein.
Boy, what a recovery.
This is a top 5 defense during the regular season. Dort couldn't cash out at the other end. Rebounded by Jokic.
Well, Lou Dort did a good job defensively in game 3, but wasn't able to knock anything down.
Great slip screen by Brown, and he slams it home. Christian Brown had a good rebound bounce back game in game 3 with 8 points.
That's why you want to have Nikola Jokic with the ball in the middle of the floor. He can see over the defense and deliver the ball.
Off the Hartenstein miss, Gordon tied up, and we're going to have a jump ball, it looks like. Jalen Williams has been sticking like glue to Gordon so far in this game, and had that block a moment ago against Porter Jr.
Well, just really intelligent defense. Tries to stay in front, but went after the ball with 2 hands. If you're going to try to slap it out or knock it away, that's when you're going to pick up a foul. But you go after it with 2 hands, you're more likely to be able to tie that thing up.
So Gordon and Williams to jump. And the Thunder control. Gilgeous-Alexander 1 for 2 so far here. Just getting underway. Off the screen. Got to the mid-range and cashes out again.
Well, you can tell Oklahoma City wants to put Nikola Jokic in as many ball screens as they can. If Denver's going to stay in man, they're going to make him guard and have to switch out on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Brown had it knocked away. Good steal. It was Jalen Williams again. And Brown took it right back until Hartenstein got it back. Holmgren was wide open. They didn't see him. Dort with the sidestep 3. That's way off. Loose ball controlled by Holmgren. Williams open. And Jokic with the rebound. Bodies flying all over. Jokic leading the break. And he throws it away. Hartenstein couldn't keep it in play. Frenetic and frenzied action here early. 7-3 when we come back to Ball Arena. Let's take a look at today's Star Watch, brought to you by PayPal. The numbers for Gilgeous-Alexander off a little bit in the playoffs in a 7-8 game sample size, but he attended yesterday's voluntary shoot-around, and he's off to a great start here so far, Jay.
Denver has started out this game playing in man. They started out game 3 in zone, but they're putting Nikola Jokic in ball screen situations, and important for Hartenstein to set a really good screen with Jokic in drop coverage. That means Shai Gilgeous-Alexander can either take him on or just pull up for that little short jumper. 2 of 3 to start the game. But both teams have struggled from the field, missed wide open shots. I don't expect that to continue throughout the course of these 48 minutes in regulation.
Caruso and Wiggins coming into the ball game for the Thunder. Williams on Murray now. Picked up his dribble with 5 on the shot clock, nowhere to go. Had it knocked away. Good contest. Got a whistle and a foul called with 1.2 to go on the shot clock on Jalen Williams.
Probably the worst thing to happen for Oklahoma City right there was knocking the ball away. If Williams doesn't get a piece of this ball and knock it away from Murray, Murray's not going to be able to dribble it, and he's not going to be able to get Williams to come into him like that.
Jamal Murray was so key for the Nuggets in that game 3 overtime victory. From start to finish, he was their most consistent and arguably their best player. Ended up with 27 points, and what he did at the defensive end was pretty remarkable too, in the words of his head coach David Adelman.
Well, he had a spectacular defensive game. Had 4 steals. Really stood his ground. He was physical. Little zone look right now for Denver.
Here's Caruso. Back out top to Williams. Dort drives it on Gordon. Good help by Jokic. 8 on the shot clock. Wiggins with the float game. Left it on the front rim. Denver with a chance to tie. Here's Murray. Got a screen from Brown. Murray sprays it out to Porter Jr. Wiggins looking for a foul on the push-off on Brown. Won't get it. Brown open for 3. Gordon with the offensive rebound. Porter Jr. Boy, they had 4 for $1 on that trip.
Yeah, they've had open looks. A terrific contest on that first corner 3 by Michael Porter Jr. by Alex Caruso.
And Williams just gave it back. Both teams pretty sloppy to start this game, Jay.
You know, in the fourth quarter of game 3, I thought Oklahoma City had way too many dribbles. Their dribble per pass ratio was probably, it seemed like it was 10-1. And there was an example on that last possession of just over dribbling.
Russell Westbrook coming into the ball game for the Nuggets. And in a game where there was a short turnaround of just 36 hours, that's going to be a foul on Aaron Gordon, knocking Lou Dort to the court. With the quick turnaround, Russell Westbrook certainly will bring the requisite energy to the Nuggets. Gordon. Denver back in its zone defense.
The 2-3 look with Jokic in the middle.
And now both teams have combined 0 for 14 from deep.
Maybe some remnants of game 3 being in overtime. A little bit of a tired start shooting.
Murray drives it. Wow, and an enterprising layup. The creativity of Murray on display again.
Well, creativity is right. He's a very creative finisher, especially with the left hand around the basket.
Wow, Dort laces that 3 to make it a 10-7 game. Dort on the board.
That's one of the best things he could do against his zone. Beat it down the floor and get something early.
Off the stagger, Murray into the corner. Westbrook, he's been proficient shooting the 3 from the corner this year. Here's Caruso on the move. They got a 2-on-1 facing Gordon, and Caruso lays it in. Man, he's been so valuable off the bench this season for the Thunder. The oldest player on the roster at 31. Westbrook missed the layup, got it back. Guarded by Wiggins with 10 on the clock. Missed again. Porter Jr. battling. And once again, Williams a little bit faster to the ball.
Well, Oklahoma City does such a great job on the offensive glass of tipping the ball to keep it alive so they can get it or a teammate can get it.
Kind of just like what Gordon did right there. 12-7 with just under 4 minutes to go. That's going to be a foul on Lou Dort, using all 230 pounds pounding away at Gordon. That's the 14th foul.
Well, here's Lou Dort knocking down the first 3 of the game for Oklahoma City. He was wide open. They've had some wide open looks, but Denver not getting back in transition after that last Oklahoma City rebound, and led to a 2-on-1 that Caruso was able to finish with ease.
So Hartenstein will sit down. Holmgren and Gilgeous-Alexander come into the ball game. Watson comes in for the Nuggets. Gordon will sit down. Westbrook behind the Jokic screen. Shot an air ball.
Denver's got to find a way to get some energy and some juice into this first quarter. I mean, only 7 points with just under 4 minutes to go.
Make you feel like you're back in the ACC? Sorry, Jay. Gilgeous-Alexander on the wing against Murray. A couple of teammates have played in Paris this year at the Olympics for Canada. And Wiggins walked with it.
Yeah, that should have been an additional swing to get it to Alex Caruso on the right side. But anytime SGA has 2 guys on him, there's going to be somebody open. They passed out of it effectively, but just didn't make that extra pass they perhaps needed there.
They got 3 bodies on Jokic. He got off of it. battling Caruso for position. Wallace all over Murray inside. Jokic in a crowd. Misfires again.
Oh, what a challenge by SGA under the bucket.
And that jumper short. Westbrook with the rebound. And the frigid shooting continues. Denver, meanwhile, missed its last 6 in a row. Into the corner, Watson. All right, somebody's got to close the door because we've seen a couple of air balls at that end of the floor by Denver now. 12-5. Wallace inside Holmgren. Tough fadeaway, and he barely draws iron. Wallace with the hustle and the stick back.
And Christian Braun just couldn't corral that thing, but Cason Wallace was right there. Does Cason Wallace ever change expression or sweat?
He is as level as they come. Murray turned the corner. Westbrook for 3. That's off. 1 and done for Denver. Thunder in the middle of a 7-0 sprint right now. And that's going to be a foul against Watson. Second team foul against Denver. We got a timeout on the floor.
Oklahoma City, one of the best defensive team, if not the best in the league. But Alex Caruso battling Nikola Jokic, trying to get around in front using his strength and his quickness and length. But also he does a great job getting out to shooters and closing out. SGA helping out, bothering that shot.
Denver for Game 4 of the conference semifinals, delivered by Chipotle. Well, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Be kind to yourself and each other and give Total Health a shot. Learn more at nba.com/Total Health. Gildas from the field, 5 points. Leading the way so far for the Thunder in this cold shooting game so far by both teams. Wiggins over to Wallace. Holmgren expecting the lob. It never made it there. That's the 3rd turnover for the Thunder.
Right, nice job getting a deflection there. There's good news and bad news for Denver in this first quarter. The bad news, they're 2 of 19. 2 of 19. But the good news is they're only down 7.
Peyton Watson from the corner. Draws iron again. And Julian Strawther checked into the ball game. So Coach Adelman pressing a different button here in Game 4.
Maybe he can generate a little bit of offense.
Gildas Alexander couldn't find the mark. Got the offensive rebound, missed the putback, but was fouled inside. He'll go to the free throw line. Amongst league leaders this year in free throw attempts this game, the foul against Strawther.
Oklahoma City had 18 offensive rebounds in Game 3, but they weren't really able to capitalize off of their second chance opportunities. And Julian Strawther maybe catching a piece of the arm.
Makes the first. It's time for the upcoming playoff schedule, brought to you by Infinity. Tonight on TNT, 8 o'clock, Cavs Pacers Game 4. On ESPN Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, the draft lottery presented by State Farm, followed by Celtics Knicks Game 4, and then Timberwolves Warriors Game 4, 7:30 and 10 p.m. respectively. OKC leading by 9 in the midst of a 9-0 run. Here's Jokic. Trying to get it back to Westbrook. Active hands defensively, Jay, from the #1 defense in the NBA during the regular season.
Well, Jalen Williams into the game. Played his college ball at Arkansas, so he can guard Nikola Jokic, and they can keep length with Chet Holmgren behind.
Off the turnover, verticality, and Christian Braun will go to the free throw line for a couple of shots. With 43.4 to go in the first 12 minutes. Denver with 7 points. The Thunder with just 16. As Williams will go to the free throw line. Pardon me, Brown will go to the free throw line.
Denver was the #1 transition scoring team in the NBA during the regular season. They scored about 20 points per game off fast breaks. But that was one of the few fast break opportunities that the Nuggets have had in this first quarter.
Isaiah Joe going to come into the ball game for the Thunder. Holmgren will get a breather. This Thunder bench extremely deep.
Yeah, they play 10 guys. And Isaiah Joe, when he comes into the ball game, he's looking to shoot it. He's their best three-point shooter. Best shooter overall is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but Isaiah Joe shoots over 40% from three. He made almost 200 of them on the regular season.
And it's pretty rare, Jay, in the playoffs when teams go more than 8 deep. But this Thunder team, an exception to the rule. Joe, you said he was looking to shoot. That one comes off. And Westbrook will bring it across. Got caught up in the air, found Watson. 6-second difference between the shot and game clock. One more to Brown for three. That's short again. Gilgeous-Alexander with a rebound, plenty of time. He can walk it across. He's 2 for 4 to start this game. 7 points and 5 boards. Goes tween, draws the foul, and will get 2 shots.
I know the fans don't like it, but that's just really smart on the part of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It looked like Jokic was coming to double, and he saw that he had an angle on Peyton Watson. Just went right into his body to draw that foul. He was a little bit sideways to him instead of chest to chest.
I like to tell the story about how as a rookie with the Clippers, Gilgeous-Alexander every day in practice had to go up against Avery Bradley and Patrick Beverly, 2 of the best on-ball defenders at the time in the league. So that really helps tighten your handle. And so proficient, in the words of his trainer Olin Simplicit, attacking that heavy foot, that front foot. And Christian Braun, his predominant defender, is very much aware of that in this series.
Well, SGA is such a good driver. He has, what I call a chest down drive. And he really gets the defense off balance. Sometimes he'll use his off arm, but he gets you moving in one direction. Then he can stop and either pivot or fade away.
Jokic will launch.
That was the closest they came to a three in the first half.
It's an air ball, but hey, 25 points, tied for the fewest combined total in any first quarter in postseason history. That's the end of the first quarter here in Denver. Back with more after this.
Today's Access brought to you by JCPenney. We're here with Chet Holmgren of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tied for the lowest combined first quarter in playoff history. What do you attribute the low scoring affair to?
Both teams want to get stops right now, and it's probably the closest thing you'll see to a back-to-back in the playoffs. Late game OT and then come out and play early game. Just basically a day, not even a day and a half later. So there's a little bit of being winded out there, but neither team's going to look at that as any reason not to go get this game. So we got to go get it.
They've showed Shai about 4 or 5 different looks already in the first quarter. How do you guys help him there?
Just moving around, being available for him, knowing that if they show bodies to him, somebody's got to be open. So we got to be available.
Chet, good luck. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
Joe fouled on the reverse layup attempt. Yeah. About 36-hour abbreviated turnaround, a little bit shorter than usual, and we are at 5,280 feet altitude. I asked Alex Caruso about it yesterday, and he said that, yeah, it's a factor. Altitude is a factor for us, but after about 3 or 4 minutes into the game, your body adjusts to it.
Yeah,
it didn't feel that way on the treadmill this morning.
Yeah. That was a mistake you made of getting on the treadmill. one of the things, though, for Denver, clearly they haven't had a good start on the offensive end. I mean, 2 of 23 from the field, 0 of 14 from 3. But one thing they cannot allow is for that poor offensive performance in the first quarter to affect their defense. And it has affected them getting back a couple of times. I know that's a lot easier said than done. But even as poorly as Denver is shooting the ball, they're only down 12.
Yeah. Well, they start the second quarter with Jokic on the bench. That's going to be a foul against Payson Wallace, trying to track Jamal Murray.
Wallace is basically face guarding Jamal Murray. Just got caught with a little grab on that pin down in the middle of the lane.
Thunder have so many bodies, Jay, that they can throw at you defensively. So many wing defenders.
And they do the ball pressure they put on you, the gap presence, and then the rim protection. Is just a very well-connected defensive team.
Westbrook drives it on Hartenstein, and they took it away from him. Caruso on the drive, raises up, and he's fouled on that drive. That foul is going to go against Brown. putting Caruso at the free throw line. We saw the huge advantage that the Thunder had early in game 3 in points in the paint, and Jay, they seem to be of late very intentional about attacking the paint here.
Well, especially in transition. So far in this game, Denver has been taking three-point shots. 14 of their 23 field goal attempts have been from 3. And Oklahoma City has been doing a pretty good job of getting into the paint, getting to the rim, and forcing Denver to put a body on them and foul.
Alex Caruso, the oldest player on this team, the youngest team in the NBA. That shoot around a couple of days ago, they teasing him, calling him Unk at 31 years old. Guy with a championship ring from 2020 with his time with the Los Angeles Lakers. That's going to be a lane violation. They'll take that bucket off the board, but the Thunder in the midst of a 14-1 sprint. They lead by 13. Here's Murray. And they turned him over.
With great hands by Cason Wallace. What a pest.
Hartenstein catching a body.
You turn him over and then take it the other way. There's no way Denver's going to be able to guard a run out. But give credit to Cason Wallace, the great ball pressure he puts on and his active hands.
Important to note what Denver gets accomplished in these non-Jokic minutes. They haven't scored in the last 6:46. Murray back out to Brown for 3. Missed his last one. That one comes off too. And they're off and running. They have numbers if they choose. Gilgeous-Alexander on the cross. Joe from the corner. Wallace with the offensive rebound. Gilgeous-Alexander wide open. He can't cash. A missed opportunity that time by the Thunder.
Those are the shots that usually go down after an offensive rebound.
Yeah. But boy, this team, OKC, lethal in transition, Jay.
Well, especially when it starts with their defense. The pressure on the ball, the active hands to knock it away, and then taking it down the other way, and give Hartenstein credit for running the floor. Given the signal to Caruso, he just throws it up. Those are what they call easy baskets, but you have to work really hard to get an easy basket, and Oklahoma City does that.
Brown at the free throw line knocks down the first foul. Mentioned a moment ago, Jokic on the bench, 0 for 3 from the field so far, with 6 rebounds though. Brown knocks down 2. And Russell Westbrook with a little token full court pressure. Dropping back now defensively. And they turn it over. Brown with great anticipation. Upended and fouled by Gilgeous-Alexander. He tried to get out of the way and couldn't in time. And a chorus of boos cascading down on the presumptive MVP. Here's another look.
Denver was back in that 2-3 zone, just a lazy pass that Christian Braun was able to pick off and take the other way, and he's at his best in transition.
Well, Brown at the free throw line. Comes from a basketball family. His mother played collegiate basketball at Missouri. George has more.
Jonesy, I spoke to Christian Braun earlier today, and he talked about his mom, Lisa, a 3-time all-conference player at Missouri. Talked about not only holding it down at the house, but his first basketball coach, no one harder than him in regards to his game than mom. He even told Bill Self, his coach at Kansas, hey, me as was, Jonesy.
You bet.
I wonder if there was any mom disappointment in a Missouri mom having a kid go to Kansas.
Oh, that was a big one. Yeah, and a follow by Hartenstein on the offensive glass. The lead back up to 13. Caruso switches on to Murray.
And switches up to take something away. That's not a passive switch.
Boy, that can really wear you down over time. Gordon with the mid, he got it. He's an improved shooter this year. Assistant coach Stephen Graham has done a fantastic job with his 3-ball in particular. Gilgeous-Alexander missed from his spot. That's going to be a foul against Hartenstein.
Denver is really showing a lot of bodies to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Did a great job, I thought, in game 3 of putting 2 on the ball And that's where, I thought there was some isolation settle shots from Oklahoma City, especially in the fourth quarter.
Murray got to the rim and draws the foul. He'll get 2, and by the way, that's the 5th team foul already against the Thunder, so Denver will be shooting for the rest of the half.
And when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets that little brush screen from Isaiah Joe, he wants to take the ball down the lane line. Christian Braun did a really good job of keeping his body in front and forcing a really tough 2. But everybody's locked in on this Denver defense to making sure they put 2 on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, make him make a tough shot or make him give it up.
Gilgeous-Alexander efficient again this year from the field, increases 3-point shooting percentage and productivity. Born in Toronto, grew up in Hamilton, Ontario. Real calming voice of this young Thunder contender.
And one of the few players that lifts his game in the playoffs. He averaged, what, 18 in the regular season, 23 in the playoffs.
That one comes off to Porter Jr. OKC now 1 for 14 from deep. Dribble handoff to Murray from Jokic. And that one front rim. So the icy shooting continues. Denver, folks, get this, is 3 for 26. Gilgeous-Alexander checks into the office and cashes out. That's his spot.
He just gets into Michael Porter Jr.'s body, uses that off arm to frankly push off a little bit, but that creates that space. And he's such a good mid-range shooter.
Hey, don't use language like that. Push off. Inside, that's going to be a foul on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Isn't that a bad word or term? Push off?
Oh, it's true. Watch how he just the little discard, but he just gets right into your body, knocks you back, and locks you to the floor. Well, that's a push-off. May not be enough for a foul. Marginal push-off.
Christian Braun back at the free throw line.
Let's put it this way. It's a push-off when your opponent does it. It's a great play when your teammate does it.
See, there you go. See, that's why I feel secure in sitting next to you. That Duke education, man, got me right. Here it is one more time. SGA from one of his favorite spots.
Now that's creating space right there, and it's going against a 6'10" guy. But when you're knocked back a bit, it's tough to recover and get really good pressure on that shot.
Mention the fact that he was at the team's optional shoot-around yesterday. As Braun knocks down the second free throw, the lead is down to 10. 8 minutes to go in this opening half in this pivotal Game 4. Series will shift back to Oklahoma City in a couple of days. Williams finds a seam. Isaiah Joe. That rims out. Loose ball. Wallace pursues it. Tried to lob it up for Holmgren, who wasn't expecting it. Off the turnover, Braun.
OKC's getting really good shots, just not making them. Joe was wide open.
Williams being backed down by Jokic. Braun outside. Jokic still ice cold from deep. Was 0 for 10 in the previous game. 0 for 2 to start here tonight.
And I don't think David Adelman wants to see him stop shooting. He knows he's a good three-point shooter.
Williams. Wallace on the drive. One more to Holmgren. One more. Jalen Williams. Jokic in space. Holmgren with 2 on the shot clock. And that's going to be a traveling violation. And another Thunder turnover. Their 8th of the first half. Denver has 7. This one not shaping up to end up on ESPN Classic Network.
I don't think Oklahoma City is going to get 87 points in the first half.
Jokic out top. There's the very familiar DHO action with Murray, and he gives it away.
So give credit to Cason Wallace for breaking that up.
There's Wallace at the other end. Holmgren, the trailer, will pull it back out. Now drive it on Jokic. Nice cut by Joe. Probing against Porter Jr. Holmgren, butter. It's been a while since somebody scored.
Yes, because it has.
29-17. Past 6.5 to go in the first half, and Wallace trying to stick to Murray. Jokic, the roller, got that one to rattle home. That's his first field goal of the game.
A really nice use by Murray of a screen, re-screen. Wallace got over the first, couldn't get over the second, so Jalen Williams had to jump out, and that's going to leave Jokic wide open in the middle.
And that's going to be a foul against the Nuggets. Their third team foul. We got a break on the floor. Back after this. Welcome back to Denver, everybody, and a happy Mother's Day from all of us at ESPN to all the wonderful, doting, loving, supported mothers out there, including Lisa Brown, Christian's mom, who played ball at Missouri. Mentioned that a moment ago. And Nicole Williams, Jalen Williams' mom. Jalen was actually born here in Denver. Nicole Joe, Isaiah Joe's mom. Happy Mother's Day. And, of course, Arlene Mortel, Lou Dort's mom, who's here in the crowd today, and Sylvia Murray, Jamal's mom, had a chance to visit with some of them a little bit earlier. Shout out to Marjorie Jones, my mom, watching in Toronto, Canada, one of the NBA's biggest fans north of the border. 97 years old, got this game on right now, and another missed shot.
Denver sticking with that zone out of the timeout. Jokic in the middle, so a little harder to attack him.
Jokic on the wing, isolated. It draws the foul on Jalen Williams. He'll go to the free throw line for two. That's the second foul on Williams. Jay, what do you make of the defensive scheme that the Thunder are using against Denver in the half court? The last game, he was 8 of 25, Joker. The previous game, although mitigating circumstances, game 2, he was 6 of 16. What is Coach Daigneault doing?
Well, he's throwing bodies at him. And one of the great things about this Oklahoma City defense is the positioning of their help. They help and recover as well as any team in the NBA, probably the best of any team in the NBA. But in game 3, Isaiah Hartenstein took most of the minutes guarding Nikola Jokic and could play him physically, try to stay in front. And then you had, at times, Chet Holmgren with his length behind him to bother him around the basket. But really, it was the three-point shooting by Jokic which was the issue. He's 0 for 10 in that game.
Joe blocked by Brown. Mama loved that defense from her son. Williams with 2 on the clock. Williams, that's going to be an offensive foul. Came over the back. Well, Lisa Brown is probably happy about this defense by her son.
Well, he's the best defender on the perimeter on this team. Doesn't give up on the play. Times it out beautifully to block that right in the hands of Isaiah Joe. Christian Brown did a really good job, especially in game 7 against James Harden in that Clippers series. He also had 21 points in that game. But he's played a ton of minutes in this one.
Jokic knocks down the first free throw. Christian told me what he got Mom for Mother's Day, but I'm sworn to secrecy. Not allowed to reveal it.
He hasn't given it to her yet?
No, it is a heck of a present, though. Brown is doing a great job at both ends of the floor. 9 points as Jokic knocks down the second free throw. Denver countering on a 15-6 run right now. The lead is down to 6. The Thunder have stalled out a little bit offensively. That's going to be a foul, the 14th foul against Denver with 5:04 to go. That's going to be charged to Westbrook. That's his second personal foul.
Smart by Arkansas's Jalen Williams to set that little step-up screen. You know, one of the things you can do against a zone is screen it. You want to screen it, overload it, but you definitely have to move the ball and get some player movement, not just stand around.
They tried to screen Brown that time. Off the kick out, Williams with the midi, cash. So Jalen Williams, despite that flurry of fouls, knocks down a jumper at the other end. The lead back up to 8. Jokic trying to walk Williams down, kicks it out to Gordon. They repost it. Jokic off the mark again, a loose ball corralled by Gordon against Holmgren. Brown had a notion. 7 on the shot clock. Gordon slips the screen. Jokic out to the wing. Westbrook got it. That's their first 3-ball in 17 attempts. The Thunder a little bit stagnant here offensively. Wow, what a drive by Williams.
And
Got to the rim.
All it took was a ball reversal. Get the defense to move and then attack it.
OKC shooting 34% from the field. Westbrook being guarded by Wallace. Jokic. Gilgeous on the cut. Tried to get it to Westbrook. He bounced it out of bounds off of Holmgren. But Gordon playing in traffic tried to find Westbrook there.
Boy, that was a great cut by Aaron Gordon from that left wing just to make himself available, get to the front of the rim.
Gordon with just 1 field goal so far. Jokic shoots an air ball.
SGA has to get more involved and be more aggressive on the offensive end.
SGA missed on a short jumper. Brown on the move. Steps through. Got it. Timeout OKC. Christian Braun with his first basketball coach in attendance, showing appreciation for that dexterity to the rim. Back after this. It's time to check out the playoff tracker brought to you by Progressive. After game 1, Jay, it has been a litany, a progression, a procession, pardon me, of offensive struggles for the 3-time MVP. 6 for 16, 8 for 25, and an inauspicious beginning again here at 1 for 7.
Well, he struggled making shots, but he's doing everything else.
Yes.
He's been rebounding, defending at a good level. I mean, it's really pretty remarkable that Denver's in a 2-possession game right now with as poorly as they've shot the ball. But Oklahoma City's got to stop fouling them. They're putting Denver on the free throw line. That's been the difference.
Dort for 3, that's short. And it goes out of bounds off of Hartenstein's foot. So Denver can make it a 3-point game here. And miraculously, they are shooting just 18.8%. They never lead in this game.
Yeah, they've shot more threes than twos. 1 of 18 from 3. But the difference is they're getting to the foul line. They've shot 18 free throws, made 15.
Jokic had an ocean. Out to Westbrook. Jokic off the elbow. Led the league in elbow touches and points from there this year, but misfires.
And you can see the frustration. He just doesn't miss those shots very often.
Caruso open 3. Got it. Well, it's Caruso. The only guy on that roster with a championship ring. Makes it an 8-point advantage. Both teams were 1 of 18 from 3 prior to that shot.
You know, that miss by Jokic was almost a little bit deflating. His teammates don't see him miss those shots, and I think it affected them getting back, and they gave up a transition 3 as a result.
Dort all over Murray. Puts his chest on him. Murray with a tough shot. Forced it up at the expiration of the shot clock. SGA walks into the 3 and misses it. Gordon with the rebound. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Aaron Gordon, the improved 3-point shooter. And that is the fruition of the work that he's put in this year with Coach Stephen Graham. J-Dub left it short. Let's see how the Nuggets close these last 2 minutes. Westbrook for 3. Wow. It's almost tipped into the basket.
Have to search out if that goes in. Who's the closest Nugget to get credit for it?
Caruso open for 3. Got another one.
They just can't leave even when there's 2 on the ball. You can't leave him that wide open. That was just you don't get that much time to shoot a shot in a game of horse.
Gordon out top into Jokic. Off the flare. Gordon again from deep. That's way off. And rebounded by Hartenstein with under a minute to go. Gilgeous-Alexander with 12 points in the ball game, leading the way for the Thunder. Trying to bounce back and even this series at 2 games apiece. The reigning coach of the year, Coach Daigneault, calling out the play. He rejects the screen, steps through, got it! SGA on the JOB.
Well, Jokic looking at the official going, wait, what'd I do? He ran into me. I was just standing there. But rejecting the ball screen, getting past Brown, I'm not sure about that one. That was offense-initiated contact and really not that much of a bump. It was just chest to chest.
And that's going to be the second personal foul against Jokic with 37.1 to go here in the first half. Westbrook, Murray, Jokic, Brown on the floor for the Nuggets with Gordon. Gilgeous-Alexander at the free throw line. 85% during the regular season. Knocks that one down, and the lead is up to double digits. Jokic searching the foul, got it, and one. I think they're going to wave that off.
I think he was counting on getting the same kind of call on that end that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got on the other one.
Yep. You could tell he was intentional here.
Yeah, such a smart player.
They're going to wave off the basket. It's going to be 2 shots. Foul is against Hartenstein. Well, Jokic will get 2. Official Sean Wright waved it off. Jokic, a 73% free throw shooter in the playoffs.
I don't know. I'm more of a fan of that being a
Looked like an N1.
Yeah, into his shooting motion.
You know, he's been
good lift though on and second jump.
Right. He's been a lot more demonstrative in the last several weeks, taking a little bit more equity in the team after the dismissal of Coach Michael Malone. Jokic's continued burgeoning leadership voice. Actually, has been quite the collective. 9-point lead. Holmgren, one more to the corner. Williams drives it. One more to Caruso. That's the hot guy. That one's short. And with 19.2 to go, they can run it all the way down, the Nuggets can. Hey, coming up, stay tuned for the Kia halftime with Malika Andrews, Stephen A. Smith, and Kendrick Perkins. They'll look ahead to tonight's game 4 between the Cavs and the Pacers, and they'll be talking about OKC's suffocating, stifling, impregnable defense against Denver.
Halftime's about 15 minutes, so that'll give the crew here a chance to repaint the rims.
A double coat, Jay. Maybe a triple. Here's Murray against Dort. Navigates 2 screens on the pick and pop. Jokic on the flyby puts it up. Got it! With .1, and that'll do it for the first half. It's going to be a long 2, it looks like, as he took that extra step.
Maybe that'll give the Nuggets a little bit more juice going into the second half.
His first 3 in a couple of games. Pardon me. Oh, it looked like, oh, that's a close one.
That's going to be a 3.
Looks like he was behind the line, though. Put Williams on a flight, got the basket. That's the end of the first half. The Kia halftime is next after these messages.
The NBA Conference semifinals on ABC are delivered by Chipotle. Real ingredients, real flavor, Chipotle. For real. And in part by Miller Lite. With great taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
Tatum will be filling in for Superman. Jason Tatum is crushing it as substitute Superman.
In crunch time, he transformed into Super Jason.
That was his ankles.
Yo, he posterized that giant robot.
I told you, he's got that dog in him. I am not filling in for Lex Luthor. Stop asking me that.
Jason, you saved the day, but why would Superman need a day off?
I think he just wanted to watch the playoffs.
Stay confident, keep firing. Okay, stay together. Come on, let's go.
30 seconds.
Hey, stay with it right now. Stay in the game, all right? Let's go.
All defense. Let's go, boys. Here we go.
Incredible effort down here, man. Incredible. Down here is why you're in the game, man. Stay with it. Stay with it. I'm going to keep saying it. Don't get frustrated with great shots. Great shots are great too, man. Your defense is all that matters. Your shots will fall.
You're watching the NBA playoffs presented by Google. We're in Denver for Game 4 of the conference semifinals, delivered by Chipotle as we peruse some of the cogent numbers from that first half of play. Neither team shooting the basketball well, both 3 of 22 from deep. Perhaps that trend goes in the other direction here in the third quarter. Mark Jones courtside along with Jay Billis, George Sedano joining us in just a bit. The one thing OKC has hung its hat on all year has been its defense.
And the OKC defense in the first half was excellent. Great ball pressure. They were flying around. They had 2 on the ball at times on Nikola Jokic, and Jamal Murray really limited those 2. The one thing, though, that I think Oklahoma City needs to clean up in this second half, they got to stop fouling. I mean, they gave up 20 free throw attempts in that first half to Denver. The Nuggets hit 17 of those 20. That's what's keeping Denver in the game. But this is a big bucket to end the half by Nikola Jokic. Took Denver into the locker room on a high. And I think David Adelman and the Nuggets have to feel really good being only down 2 possessions after shooting 21% in that first half and only making 3 out of 22 threes.
Well, he has said that if we can just keep it close and then lean into our championship experience late in the game, that could and should be enough. And off the turnover, here's Joker. At 11 points in that first half, finally saw the lid come off from deep. Knocking down that 3 ball. Murray off the Porter screen. 7 on the shot clock. Jokic with the miss.
Even though Hartenstein got pushed off there a little bit, he just did a really nice job of staying in front of Jokic, making him make a tough shot.
That's been the story of the last 3 games in particular.
Yeah, the pickup point is high, so he's picking him up above the 3-point line. He got pushed off a little bit, but still was able to put some late pressure on that shot. That's a shot that Jokic is normally going to make, or at least make a high percentage of. But everything has been... It's not just been Hartenstein, it's been the entire team has shown him a lot of bodies and made it difficult. That's why Denver has to be really disciplined to keep the floor spaced so that he can make some plays with his passing.
Let's go to George for more.
Jonesy, Jay, I spoke to Denver assistant coach Ryan Saunders about adjustments, but before that, he handed me the box score and jokingly told me, send this one to Springfield, referring to the Basketball Hall of Fame. But then he told me, being down only 6, as Jay mentioned, that they were proud at how they played defensively in that half. They'd like to do a better job rebounding, as you see the dunk there by Michael Porter Jr., but said they'd like to do a better job rebounding to keep them from multiple shots. On offense, he says they liked the looks they got. They could do a better job screening, as another dunk on the other end by Holmgren. They'd do a better job screening, he said, to get them even better looks, Jonesy.
Yeah, great stuff, George. They might want to take a blowtorch to that box score. 7-point lead after that great dunk by Holmgren from the dunker spot.
Well, the one thing that Denver's been doing is they've been hanging in there, and their offense hasn't affected their defense.
Jokic with the 3. Make it a 4-point game. He's hit 2 of them now in this game. Jalen Williams on the bounce. Has it come off to Porter Jr.
Boy, that's a tough one. Oklahoma City didn't even really make a pass there. There's an individual ISO, which they did a lot in the fourth quarter in Game 3.
Murray got to the rim and drew the foul. He'll get a couple of shots. Jamal Murray with 5 so far in the ball game will shoot his 5th and 6th free throws.
Now, David Adelman's been telling his team, keep shooting. These are good shots. We're just not making them. And he told us before the game, you know, Jokic might have been 0 for 10 from 3 in Game 3, but they were all good shots, and he knows he can make those.
Well, Tuesday night, ESPN's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs continues with Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinal series between the Winnipeg Jets and the Dallas Stars. That's Tuesday night, 8 p.m. on ESPN and on the app. That series, of course, tied at a game apiece. Game 3 is tonight in Dallas.
Where would Denver be in this game without the foul line?
After that free throw, 19 of 22.
Over half their points are coming from the foul line.
Gilgeous Alexander Crowded, double teamed. The pass, Holmgren with the finish. That's 2 times in a row we've seen that action here in the third quarter.
This speaks to the playmaking ability in the middle of the floor of Isaiah Hartenstein. He can shoot that little push shot, or he can lob it up to Chet Holmgren.
Gordon off the elbow. Jokic with the show and go on Hartenstein.
Good recovery by Dort on that pass out.
Jokic wheels baseline, couldn't finish. Good defense by Hartenstein again. There's Jalen Williams on the move, fouled, and he'll get to the strike.
Whenever Isaiah Hartenstein catches the ball in the middle of the floor, usually it's off some sort of short roll action, but he just throws it right up to the rim 2 times in a row. And here, it's not just Hartenstein's defense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is there right under the bucket in the hole to really help. And that help, I think, distracted Jokic when he was trying to go to the other side of the rim.
Jalen Williams at the free throw line, knocks down the first. They changed that previous Jokic 3 to a 2, which is why it's now 48-43. And Williams knocks down both. Just underway here in the third quarter. Mark Jones, Jay Billis, George Sedano. Game 4 of this conference semifinals, with OKC trying to level up at 2 games apiece. Look at Lou Dort. Chase Murray around that screen. Here's Gordon on the DHO. Good switch. Brown with 6 on the shot clock. A pull. Got it! Christian Brown's jumper is wet today.
Well, he's got 14. Combined with his defense, he's had an excellent game.
Gilgeous-Alexander with a miss. Loose ball to Brown. Aaron Gordon calls out the play. Elbow. Jokic with the screen for Murray. Flips it. Jamal for 3. Yes. Time to bring the noise here at Ball Arena. Hartenstein back out to Williams. Kept it in the front court. Williams weaving through traffic. And Gordon clears, and a chance for Denver to take the lead. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Aaron Gordon. Much to the protestations of David Adelman, their head coach.
Just a little bit too much of a lean. But really nice job. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doesn't have his hands up, and Brown made him pay for it. And then the terrific job by Jamal Murray of the screen, rescreen action out top, just rubbing off the defender. And he gets such great lift on that shot. He uses that move so effectively.
He and Jokic have wonderful chemistry. Doing a lot of bit of help. 7 on the shot clock, goes tween. Sprays it out to Dort. Wide open 3, Butter. And OKC's lead back up to 4. Lou Dort and Jamal Murray spent the whole summer together playing for the Canadian national team. I asked Dort about their friendship. He said, Mark, I love Jamal, but they call it show business, not show friends. It's all about business during the series. Jokic trying to turn the corner. And that's a big body bends move right there by the 3-time MVP to make it a 2-point contest.
What a combination of power and skill.
Dort misfires on this one. Denver can tie. Off the drag screen, Murray. Pocket pass, Jokic, one more. Brown for the lead. And Holmgren racing back the other way against Jokic. Had it knocked away. What a steal by the Joker. Brown, one more. Murray probes it. Gordon lines up the seams. Mr. Nugget clocks in.
ESPN Bet Sportsbook has you covered all playoffs long. Keep up with big-time matchups, get daily profit boosts, and tell exclusive picks from Stephen A. Smith. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bet.
Chipotle, Denver in the midst of a nice run, taking their first lead, Jay.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic gets a screen that just bullies his way down with 2 feet inside the paint, and then Oklahoma City, 2 terrific closeouts on the left side, but they couldn't get to the third closeout after the Murray kickout. And remarkably, Denver has the lead in this game, shooting under 30% for the game. Remarkable.
Wow. Little token full court pressure by Murray on Gilgeous-Alexander. Let's see what the Thunder run coming out of the timeout. Caruso with some guard screening action. Williams touches paint. Had it partially blocked, it looked like, or left it short.
But Brown has done a really good job at contesting shots. Almost those rear view mirror contests. And he's done it multiple times in this game.
Murray trying to shake Dort. Around the Jokic screen. Nice hezzy. Dort sticks with him and got part of the ball on the block. Murray retrieves it. Double teamed and peeled clean. Gilgeous-Alexander. Back out to Dort, one more to Williams. Wide open from deep, and that was way short. Hartenstein with the board, though. Had Williams cutting, but he didn't give it to him. The lob, broken up by Murray. And here's Jokic. Murray walks into the 3 and passes. Jokic fouled from behind by Hartenstein.
Well, Oklahoma City trying to throw it up top and get a lob, but Murray just gets back from that low spot on the left and able to disrupt it with the right hand. Maybe a little bit of contact, but not enough to draw a foul. And disruptive is what Denver's defense has been. They've really packed the paint and made it difficult for Oklahoma City to get any kind of drive in there with just active hands, deflections, knocking it away.
Tell you what, if you look at Jamal Murray just a moment ago, he was grabbing his shorts, and if you play basketball at any kind of high level, you know that that's when a guy's gassed. He's grabbing his shorts and played well into the 44, 43 minutes the previous game, which went overtime. Told me a couple of days ago he's playing at a lighter weight during these playoffs. It's given him more endurance and strength, and he's going to need every ounce. His team with possession off the turnover. OKC has given it away 11 times. Jokic off the elbow. Cross court, Porter Jr. And rebounded by Williams.
And Michael Porter Jr. has struggled shooting it in this one. He was so sharp and got off to such a great start in game 3. Game 4 has been much different.
Skip pass into the corner, Dort for 3. And it comes off to Porter Jr. They are now 4 of 26 from deep. Murray for 3. That one falls. Jamal Murray says it's all good. Their biggest lead.
So good at using these screens by Nikola Jokic. You go underneath, he just pulls up and drains it.
Well, tomorrow night on ESPN, NBA Countdown tips off at 6:30 Eastern, followed by this year's draft lottery. Then it's game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinal between the Celtics and Knicks at 7:30, followed by game 4 of the Western semifinal between the Timberwolves and Warriors at 10 p.m. Let's go to George. What do you have for us, Sedano?
Jonesy, Jay, I was behind the OKC bench during that timeout huddle. Alex Caruso imploring his teammates to defend. He said, guys, we got a guard. We can turn them over and get back in this. Then Mark Daigneault came, and he said, guys, it's only a 6-point game. No matter how we got here, as they cut it to 3 there on a 3, he said, no matter how we got here, it's just a 6-point game. We got to trust our stuff, Jonesy.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear George and Jay, Coach Daigneault say, I had to remind the guys who they were during our off day. Murray from the elbow. Halfway down and out. Gilgeous-Alexander will bring it up. A quiet second half for him so far was 16. They run 2 at him. He gets off of it. Here's Wallace. And picked off. Brown jumping the passing lane with the steal. And he has been ubiquitous tonight, all over the court for Denver.
I know it sounds elementary, but Cason Wallace needed to come to a 2-footed jump stop there. Play off 2 feet on that. Threw the ball away, no reason for it.
And there he commits a foul, Jay, on the other end on Gordon. Foul's going to go against Wallace. That's the 3rd team foul against the Thunder. Denver with 2. Mentioned Brown and him being omnipresent. He's got 3 steals. Jokic as Wiggins switch on to him. Westbrook for 3. And it comes off to the Thunder. Wallace controls. And that's going to be a foul on Joker, who likes to raise his palm skyward. That's going to be his 3rd. As he saw an opportunity to pounce on the loose ball.
They give credit to Alex Caruso on that last play, just keeping the ball alive. Couldn't grab it, kept it alive so that OKC could grab that defensive board.
Caruso for 3, that's off. Wiggins hustling, kept it in play almost. So the shooting misery continues from deep for the Thunder. They're just 5 of 28.
Well, and you're not going to get Denver out of this zone unless you shoot them out of it. And thus far, Oklahoma City hadn't been able to do that. They're 20 of 60 for the game, 33%.
Westbrook. Murray rejects the screen. Here's Jokic, pulls the 3 ball. A little bit strong. Murray with a rebound. Another possession for the Nuggets. That's going to be a foul against Williams.
Referee was signaling offensive foul because that's what an offensive player usually would do in getting low post position. But that was done defensively.
Foul's going to go against Williams. That's the 4th team foul. Little inverted pick and roll there with Murray and Joker, and Brown gets it back to Jokic. Here's another 3. That one's pure.
Once he gets that ball over his head, it's basically unblockable, but he also plays on the floor so he can shot fake and drive it.
The Thunder said they wanted to face Denver. Wallace laces the 3 from the corner. They said they wanted Denver because they think the Nuggets will alchemize the best in them. Well, it needs to come out now. They're in danger of going down 3-1 in the series. Murray out top. A whistle and a foul as Jokic again ends up on the court. Foul's going to go against Cason Wallace, his 3rd.
Because Nikola Jokic plays on the floor, you know, he can rise up. That can be a shot fake or a shot. And that ball winds up behind his head. It's just near impossible to block and really difficult to get a lot of pressure on by the time he releases it.
Really had a spike in his 3-point shooting during the regular season this year. Was amongst the league leaders. Jokic knocks down the first free throw in the playoff, shooting 73% from the stripe. A couple of subs coming into the ball game.
Cason Wallace was trying to get over that screen that Jokic was setting, wound up fouling him with a little hook. And those are the fouls you just can't have. I mean, the free throw line has been a huge difference in this game.
Denver is now 23 of 26 from the foul line. The lead is 5. Gilgeous-Alexander. 3 with an auspicious bounce goes through. The lead is down to 2. Wiggins off the bench with his first field goal. Murray, one more to Watson inside. Holmgren fouls at the rim. That'll put Watson at the free throw line.
Well, a really nice cut by Peyton Watson from the left side. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander draws basically 3 defenders, then kicks it out to Wiggins, who was ready to shoot. Both he and Isaiah Joe can make a difference against this defense that's paint protecting first and then trying to recover out to perimeter shooters.
Right now it's Peyton Watson to the foul line for the Nuggets. Well, tonight over on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball is in Cleveland as the Guardians take on Bryce Harper and the Phillies. Coverage begins with Baseball Tonight Sunday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. And then it's Phillies Guardians at 7 p.m. on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Watson goes 0 for 2. And a chance for the Thunder to tie it up.
Watson's had some good minutes for Denver in games 3 and 4.
For the lead, Wiggins. Hartenstein crashing glass, but it comes off to the Joker. Hit ahead to Watson. Couldn't control it. Gilgeous-Alexander running it back. Goes tween. Baseline. Hartenstein. Tell you what, he is 82% on those shots coming into Denver a couple of nights ago. Brown. Downtown Brown. .17 in the game for Christian Braun.
Well, he's been so good in this game.
Holmgren misses. Boy, a little room service for Wiggins underneath with the loose ball.
Denver had that and just couldn't corral it.
Jokic bringing it up. Sees 2. One more to Westbrook for 3. And it's starting to rain threes. Six-point lead for the 2023 NBA champs. Gilgeous-Alexander playing with his food out front. Can't shake Westbrook. Tied up. Man, Westbrook was in his chest like bronchitis.
That was much of what we saw in the 4th quarter of game 3. SGA trying to take on a set defense with Oklahoma City not moving the ball and therefore not moving the defense. And a really nice job by Brown to come over, help tie that thing up.
And that's going to be Denver ball off the jump. Russell Westbrook with that interminable energy, endless. There's a reason why Nikola Jokic lobbied the front office to sign Westbrook as a free agent last July.
Well, Westbrook's just a warrior. He brings such an edge to this team, certainly puts pressure on the rim, but when the opponents lay off him, he's been knocking down that 3.
Yeah, especially from the corners this year. 26.1 to go. Denver outscoring OKC 33-21 in this quarter. Murray brings it across against Dort. They can run it all the way down. Brown with the screen. Caruso switches on to Murray. Murray touches paint, and he lost it. 8 seconds to go. The Thunder with plenty of time. Dort pulls the 3. Tipped up, no good. And that's going to do it for the first 36 minutes here at Ball Arena. The emotion of the 2023 champs still tangible and palpable. That's the end of the 3rd. We'll be back after this message and a word from your ABC station.
It's delivered by Chipotle. We're here with Christian Braun of the Denver Nuggets. You guys took your first lead here in the 3rd quarter. How are you guys able to regain the situation and take over?
We finally made a shot. I feel like we haven't made a shot all game, but playing good defense, we're just staying with it and making shots helps.
You guys have dominated at the free throw line. What's gone into that particular part of the game?
Just trying to drive the ball hard. They're a physical team. They're really good defense. Just trying to drive the ball hard and take care of the ball, get the rim.
Christian, good luck. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, George. Denver outscoring OKC by 12 in that 3rd quarter. Westbrook around the screen, back out to Aaron Gordon. Got his feet set. And that's going to be a foul against OKC. And Wallace underneath trying to block out Westbrook. Westbrook with that constant movement is always going to be a threat in some way, shape, or form. That's the 4th foul against Wallace.
Wallace just trying to face guard, box out. And it just got into his body a little bit too much. But Westbrook not giving up on the play. But Denver, they established a rhythm in the third quarter, but I don't think they established it on offense. I think they established their rhythm on defense. They have hung in there this whole game.
Watson with the jump. They've really improved defensively in the postseason. When you look at the fact that during the regular season, the Nuggets were 20th in defensive rating. They gave up the lob and one to Hartenstein, who was fouled by Watson.
Hartenstein just hanging out behind the defense in that dunker spot, and all it took was some penetration off the ball screen to make Aaron Gordon come up to have to play it, and that meant that Peyton Watson had to come in from the wing to try to stop that dunk from Hartenstein. He couldn't stop it and fouled him.
Hartenstein at the free throw line, 6 for 9 in the postseason from the stripe. Did a couple of crucial misses in that overtime period 36 hours ago from that short corner spot.
Yeah, that little push shot from the short corner.
And that's going to be a turnover.
No, it's not.
Or not.
Yeah,
Tony Brothers got it over. But yeah, Hartenstein was taught that little push shot by his father, Flo, who he played professionally with for a year in Germany. Said that playing in Europe taught him to get it off quickly and with a lot of arc because of the crowd that they play in the paint.
Yeah, when you're a teammate of your father as a pro, do you call him dad in practice?
Hey, I know. Hey, Aaron Gordon with the turnaround.
How good has Aaron Gordon been in the playoffs? Not just this series, but he was great against the Clippers.
Had that game winner and a big shot response by Wallace.
A little bit better ball movement there from Oklahoma City, getting it from one side of the floor to the other. And that's something that was missing in the fourth quarter of game 3.
Jokic beginning this fourth quarter on the bench. But the Nuggets have been able to hold the fort. Murray off the miss, loose ball. They'll have another opportunity. The hustle of Watson.
A great job by Gordon to keep that thing alive.
Wallace on Murray, cross court. Jordan drives the closeout. Got his miss back, and another opportunity or not. Fires, it'll count. Got it off just in time before the expiration of the shot clock. Williams. Wallace, one more. Wiggins wide open. Cash. And a timeout, Denver.
Well, give credit to Jalen Williams for rushing that ball down the floor when he kicked it out. That extra pass, which is the right pass, to get it back to Wiggins for the wide open 3. That's excellent offense in transition by Oklahoma City.
The NBA Conference semifinals on ABC are delivered by Chipotle. Real ingredients, real flavor, Chipotle, for real. And in part by Google, proud sponsor of the NBA.
Time for the upcoming playoff schedule, brought to you by Snapdragon on TNT tonight. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Pacers Cavs Game 4. Then Monday on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, NBA Draft Lottery presented by State Farm. Jay, you'll be there, and then it'll be Celtics Knicks Game 4 after that at 7:30, followed by a 10 o'clock run, Game 4 between Minnesota and Golden State. Out of the timeout, Jokic back in the ball game. They stunt at him, show him 2 bodies, and that time they get the stop and the miss, but Gordon on the offensive glass. Porter Jr. back to Brown. Shot clock at 7 for Jokic. Brown pulls the 3, and this time Wallace secures the board, and a chance for the Thunder to take the lead as Gilgeous-Alexander is summoned off the bench, ready to check in for OKC.
Well, that was a nice looking play by Denver out of the timeout to isolate Jokic in the low post.
Loose ball comes out to Westbrook. What a bounce pass, but Porter couldn't make the catch. Fumbled it and stepped out of bounds. Boy, a blown opportunity off a great dime by Westbrook. The 12th turnover for Denver, as Holmgren will check into the ball game shortly as well. So SGA so far, Gilgeous-Alexander, the presumptive MVP, 5 of 12 from the field, 6 of 8 from the line, 16 points in the ball game. But he hasn't really found his rhythm yet, right? He doesn't seem to be any kind of constant flow.
Yeah, this has been a tough game to find rhythm in.
Yeah.
But Alex Caruso, Oklahoma City is now trying to use Alex Caruso. He's going out of the game, but to set a screen on the top of that little 2-3 look that Denver is giving the Thunder.
Murray will check into the ball game for Denver for Porter Jr. So they downsized just a little bit. Murray, Westbrook, Brown, Jokic, and Gordon on the floor for the Nuggets. They double team Gilgeous-Alexander. Here's Wallace. Throws it up off glass. Hartenstein had it knocked away out of bounds off of Gordon. And Holmgren may have been hit in the face during that sequence. Remember, he missed 39 games this year with a fractured hip. It looks like he took some friendly fire from Hartenstein on his temple. Took an elbow to the dome. Wiggins in the ball game. Back out to Hartenstein. Gilgeous-Alexander around the screen. Back out to Caruso. One more to a wide open Wallace. That is pristine execution, Jay.
Yeah, really good job by Caruso to set that screen, pop out, and then make the extra pass. And Cason Wallace has knocked down some open shots in this game, which he didn't do in Game 3.
9-0 run for OKC. Jokic, Westbrook for three. Loose ball. And Wiggins gets the 50-50 ball.
Well, that almost looked like a pack line defense, the way they were crowded in the paint.
Gilgeous-Alexander around the Hartenstein screen. The three. The three ball has abandoned him here today. He's 0 for 3 from deep. Murray got hung up in the air, found the right guy. Brown relocates and gets it back against Caruso. Around the Jokic screen, Brown for three. Loose ball, and another 50-50 comes out to the Thunder.
And another time Alex Caruso knocks it away from Jokic so that a teammate can grab it. He's just always around the ball.
Gilgeous-Alexander got to his spot and draws the foul for two. He'll get 2 shots.
Well, we talked about Alex Caruso being a screener up against the top. Sets basically a little ball screen, then it pops out to the three-point line, and when Westbrook closes out, just hits Wallace on the right side, and then watch him tip the ball away from Nikola Jokic here. I mean, he wasn't trying to grab it. He's trying to keep Jokic from getting it to get that easy stick back.
Yeah, smart play by the veteran.
Yeah, he's not the same player. I'm not suggesting he's even close to a Hall of Famer, but he's got some Ginobili qualities with the way he plays.
31 years old, one of the senior player on the roster. 31 is really too young to be called Unk or OG by your teammates. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm sure some of his young teammates thought he played in Seattle for the Sonics first.
Off the Gilgeous-Alexander miss. Here's Gordon. Denver has the luxury of having Gordon handle a lot. Sets the screen for Jokic. Cross-court Murray. Couple of jabs. Wallace stays right there. Good help in rotation by the Thunder. And they get the miss and the loose ball rebound.
And who was right there on the catch? Caruso.
Wallace smoked the layup, everything but the bucket. Caruso with the steal and the foul. Boy, Alex Caruso again defensively with a larcenous play. Stole it away again. That's the 4th foul on Westbrook.
Watch how he makes a stand here in transition outside the three-point line. I mean, that's incredible.
Wow.
To knock that ball away from an excellent handler and Jamal Murray on the move. That's just spectacular defense in the open floor by Alex Caruso. He's been everywhere. This is an impressive answer by Oklahoma City. Things are going Denver's way.
They're in the middle of a 10-0 run right now, Jay. Here's Holmgren. Caruso on the baseline for three. Comes off the Westbrook tip. Caruso got it back. And it looks like Tony Brothers is indicating a foul against Denver. It's going to go against Aaron Gordon. And that'll be his second personal foul. And they're in the penalty now. They'll be shooting the rest of the way, the Thunder will. Caruso at the free throw line for OKC.
Oklahoma City gets a lot of offensive rebounds. I just didn't see the foul there on that dump off.
On the arm. Caruso had 7 points in game 3 on 2 of 9 shooting.
It didn't look like Caruso wanted that foul called. When it was called, he was like, oh, geez. Because he gets it to a teammate right in front of the rim. That was probably an easy 2.
Sam Presti, the general manager, signed him to a 4-year, $81 million extension back on December the 22nd, part of the future moving forward. And he is a prototypical type of OKC player. He fits the blueprint. Selflessness and guys that are really over themselves. Off the miss. The margin is at 4. Murray into the front court.
Wallace has done a really nice job on him defensively.
Gave him a little bit of space, and Murray is lethal when he has a sliver of daylight. That snaps an 11-0 run.
Well, once Jalen with back off.
Wallace sprays it out to Caruso. Inside, went to Holmgren, got blocked from behind. What a play by Aaron Gordon. Gordon on the move, lost it out of bounds. It'll stay Nuggets basketball.
Cason Wallace knocked that away from behind with the right hand. But Chet Holmgren, what a difficult pass to get through, but it did. Went right through the fingertips of Wallace, but a fantastic block from behind to pin it against the backboard by Aaron Gordon.
Here he is, Jokic at the nail against Williams. Williams on Murray, and now out to Jokic. Whistle and a foul. I'm not sure who that's on. But Tony Brothers blows the whistle. That's the second team foul against OKC in the period.
Jamal Murray's so good at getting separation. Just gets picked off a little bit. Cason Wallace on that ball screen, and then a little step back jumper where he gets great rise. And then Jalen Williams helps off a little bit, but doesn't stay with them. And you've got to stay with him. I mean, I know it's difficult when he's backing up like that for a big guy to get out to him, but you got to give Cason Wallace a little more opportunity to recover so he doesn't pull the trigger on that shot.
Yesterday, on an optional practice day, Jamal spent a couple of hours working out with his first ever basketball coach, his father, Roger Murray, who's in town with his lovely bride, Sylvia. And Roger was emphasizing balance and a good high release point for Jamal, which are kind of his triggers. Nobody knows him better. Loving and doting, supportive dad is always on his hip. Gilgeous-Alexander at the top of the lane. Almost lost it, and that's going to be a foul against Westbrook, putting Gilgeous-Alexander on the free throw line. They're shooting the rest of the way. That's the 5th on Westbrook, and he's a big part of their bench.
I thought Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going to drive the middle to try to make 2 play 1, but instead tried to drive to his left, and Brown did a pretty good job. They just fouled him after he lost the ball.
Knocks down his 8th free throw of the game. He's 8 of 11. Westbrook in 26 minutes, 6 points to 5 fouls.
He's been really good at the playoffs. Russell Westbrook, he's averaging over 14 a game.
Yeah.
That's second off the bench in the playoffs. Ty Jerome of Cleveland, just a tick more than 14 points to be the top bench scorer in the playoffs thus far.
Murray pocket pass to Jokic. Hartenstein stays with him, sitting on his right hand. Oh, it did a victory lap and then finally fell.
And he also got fouled. That should have been called.
Williams back the other way. Holmgren inside. Caruso with a nice cut. Through traffic, couldn't get it. Denver can take the lead. Murray, one more. Westbrook for the lead. And he missed everything. Off the tween, Gilgeous-Alexander raises up and got an auspicious bounce for the bucket. The lead is up to 3. A couple of teams that arguably right now you could say are a little bit fatigued, but this ain't the time for that, Jay.
Jokic with the back down, thought he got fouled there, but still that magnificent touch, getting it to roll around the rim and go in. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the crossover, using his body so well, and he gets the roll.
Interesting trends when you parse the numbers between these two teams, including the regular season and playoffs. In close games, 6.5 points or fewer, Denver wins. The OKC victories have been marked by blowouts, but here's the catch. The Thunder have only played in 24 clutch games this season. That's the fewest in the NBA. And right now, folks, we are officially in clutch time with the margin 5 points or fewer with less than 5 minutes to go. And the Thunder, out of the timeout, force a 5-second violation.
Boy, that's big time. Not to let Denver even inbound the ball. Alex Caruso taking that pass away, but everybody, and that's a big mistake from Denver to start after that timeout.
Gilgeous-Alexander with the midi, knocks it home. The lead is back up to 5, under 4.5 to go.
And Oklahoma City's been really good in this fourth quarter, and Denver has not made a 3 in the fourth. They're 0 for 7.
Here's Jokic, guarded by Hartenstein, wheels to his left, tough shot off the mark, and that's going to be a foul on the push-off. No argument that time from Jokic. That's going to be his 4th personal foul, and that sends OKC on the procession back to the free throw line. They're really sitting on his right hand, Jay.
And give Hartenstein credit here. Not only did he contest that shot, but he turned around and rebounded. That is not easy to do when you're contesting really one of the great players of all time, Nikola Jokic.
No question. Jokic tonight, 6 of 19 from the field. Hartenstein knocks down the first free throw. Meanwhile, our other MVP candidate, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 7 of 15 from the field.
Nikola Jokic. You know, they're shrinking the floor, and still they have the tenacity and really the speed to get back out to shooters if he passes it out. There's that split action.
Murray over to Brown, 10 on the shot clock. Murray gets it back. Around the Jokic screen, Caruso sticks with him. Jamal with a lay. Murray's up to 17. Margin back to 4. Good screen by Caruso on the top man of the zone. Williams, no good. Jokic with the board. Trying to walk down Hartenstein. Inside Gordon. They almost turned it over. Jokic got it back. And that's going to be a foul. He'll go to the free throw line for a couple of shots. That foul is going to go against Caruso, his 3rd. That's the 3rd team foul.
Well, Caruso almost came up with that ball, but Jokic just pulling his way in, surrounded by 3 Oklahoma City Thunder defenders. But it was Jokic that came away with essentially that offensive rebound.
We're going to have an OKC challenge on the foul on Caruso. I think Caruso felt that he was pushed first.
Caruso, the play has been challenged by Oklahoma City.
Here's the call that's being challenged by the Thunder. Jokic uses that left arm to discard Caruso. And remember, with the addendum to the rule book this year, officials have the benefit of the proximate foul call. And there's the foul on Caruso that was actually called.
Yeah, there are two things. One, does the proximate foul rule take it that far back when that wasn't exactly part of that action on the Caruso foul? But the other thing, do they just call that incidental contact or marginal contact? I mean, it looked like a push-off because Caruso had a great opportunity to get that ball.
And Tony Brothers and Sean Wright at the monitor. There's another look from a different angle. Caruso had that left hand on Jokic's hip.
Well, that was a foul. The question was this.
That part, yep.
I mean, I don't think he can claim that, you know, he didn't have a hand on him.
At the review, there's contact with the hand with the push, also contact to the knee on the play. Therefore, the challenge is unsuccessful. There will be 2 shots for Jokic plus possession of the ball. Oklahoma City will lose their timeout and the ability to challenge the rest of the game.
Tony Brothers with the decision. Jokic at the free throw line. No more challenges remaining for the Thunder. Denver has said if they can just keep this game close, they can lean into their championship bloodlines and lineage to pull out close games.
And maybe the most impressive thing, Jonesy, has been, despite the shooting woes for Denver, especially in the first half, they didn't really let it affect their defense.
That's a great point, Jay. Great point. Adelman took control of this team in the last days of the NBA's regular season after Michael Malone was dismissed as Jokic goes 0 for 2. Wow. Against that Denver zone, Williams touches paint with the layup. He lacerates the lane to make it a 6-point game.
Well, took the ball from the right to the left side, and then Williams basically caught that on the run and drove that gap with force.
Here's Murray around the Jokic screen, being hounded by Caruso off the pick and pop action. Good closeout by Williams, where he got a foul on the ground. That's going to be the 4th team foul against the Thunder. It'll be sideline out of bounds.
Hartenstein comes up to set a screen and then flips it, but Gilgeous-Alexander just kicks it to the left side, and then it's the force that Jalen Williams drove that was really made the play in that gap.
He's got 4 points this afternoon. They fake the DHO. Jokic with the 3. Rims out to Gordon on the offensive glass. Got a whistle and a foul underneath.
Well, guess who? Basically out of that dunker spot. One thing that's probably underappreciated about Aaron Gordon is just how big and strong he is. I mean, he is a substantial presence. Yeah, just an amazing athlete. And he's doing all this even after that calf injury. What, he missed 31 games?
Sure did, and still has bounce, though. You know, he's playing the entire season pretty much, folks, with a very heavy heart. He lost his brother, Drew, in a car accident over the summer. And he has leaned into his family, in particular his 2 nephews, Zane, on really embrace them and commemorating his play this season, dedicating it to his brother, his late brother. Gilgeous-Alexander to the rim and the layup. The lead is up to 7 as we approach 2 minutes to go.
More of a man look. They really were able to take Nikola Jokic away from the rim, get him out top so that SGA could drive it.
Murray around the screen. Hartenstein switched onto him, got him caught up. Brown, the 3 ball. This one comes off to Holmgren. Under 2 minutes to go. Jalen Williams will walk it across for the Thunder, trying to even this series at 2 games apiece. The youngest team in the NBA trying to matriculate. Caruso with another opportunity back to Gilgeous-Alexander. 7 on the shot clock.
That was a huge offensive rebound by Holmgren.
Step back 3. Rebounded by Porter Jr. Gordon on the cross. Jokic with the finish off the great feed from Gordon.
But how about that play by Aaron Gordon? Just went right into the chest of Chet Holmgren.
Jalen Williams over to Gilgeous-Alexander. Rejects the screen, goes at Jokic. Kicked out of bounds. Who's that off? That's off of the Thunder. And the door is still open.
Went right off SGA's left leg.
Caruso with a little full court pressure on Murray, making him work. 5-point lead for the Thunder. Murray out top around the Jokic screen. Hartenstein switches onto him. They got a mismatch. Murray inside. Good catch. Porter Jr. Oh, and it comes out.
Well, he made such a great cut there. And got great rise off that jumper.
44 seconds to go for Gilgeous-Alexander out top. They're looking to blitz him. He beats the double team on that Nash dribble, probes and comes out. 5 on the shot clock. Got to get to work. Pivots and pulls. And Jokic with the rebound with 28.1 to play. They did burn a lot of clock on that possession. Well, tomorrow night on ESPN, NBA Countdown tips off at 6:30 Eastern, followed by this year's NBA Draft Lottery. Then it's Game 4, the Eastern Conference semifinal between the Celtics and Knicks at 7:30 Eastern, followed by Game 4 of the Western semifinal between the Timberwolves and Warriors. That series also at 2-1 in favor of Minnesota. Sideline out of bounds. Jokic will inbound. You have the Jr., Gordon, Murray, and Brown on the floor.
You have to expect that ultimately they want to go two-man game.
Murray pulls the three. Aim up short.
Yeah, they got Jokic and Murray in that two-man game, and Murray got a good look. It didn't have the same kind of lift on that shot that he's had earlier in the game.
Murray has played 38 minutes, and that's going to be a foul. Oh no, timeout first by Coach Daignault, last year's winner of Coach of the Year. And we'll be back for the final 21 seconds in a minute. Look at the numbers today on Jamal Murray. 48 minutes less than 36 hours ago, and then today heavy minutes as well, as is the case with Nikola Jokic, playing 42 minutes today, and both those guys are doing heavy lifting. There's no possessions off.
Yeah, it's basically been a six-man rotation for Denver in this game.
Williams on the inbound play, fouled on the shot. Either way, he'll get 2. They're in the penalty. With 20 seconds to go, the Thunder on the cusp of being able to close this one out as Westbrook fouls out of the ball game. There are so many people, an unusual, inordinate amount of people that doubt this 68-win team in the regular season, Jay. And what do you think it means for them to squeeze out, should they, hang on, a win against this or playing these types of games?
I think it's another confidence builder. But for Mark Daignault and his staff and his team, in a game that was not pretty and one that, you know, you could fold up. When Denver came back, took the lead after playing so poorly, shooting the ball so poorly in the first half. You know, a young team that can shake you a little bit. But this young Thunder team responded in a really positive way, especially in the fourth quarter. They've been excellent in the fourth quarter at both ends of the floor.
It gives you the test first and the lesson afterwards. And it looks like OKC has certainly learned a lesson with a 7-point lead, 20 seconds to go, but class is not let out yet. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading the way with 23 points on a very efficient 7 of 15 from the field.
Much more resolute in this game than in game 3 to get to his spots and get what he wants. Got to the free throw line, much more efficient. 6 rebounds, 5 assists to go with those 23 points. He didn't knock down any of his three-pointers, but has had a strong fourth quarter, and his leadership and defense have been a big part of Oklahoma City outpacing Denver in the fourth period.
He left the court in defeat a couple of nights ago with a big smile on his face. Gilgeous-Alexander did. He said, I never want my opponents or their fans to see any kind of weakness. He promised that he would be better today, and he has been.
Thought it was interesting, Mark Daigneault saying, you know, he's in the driver's seat of his own development. A lot of time the coach is in the driver's seat, has to help the player get into the driver's seat, but SGA's always been in it.
Boy, this denied defense, impenetrable. Caruso commits the foul, though, but they burned a lot of time trying to get to their action there, Jay. That's going to be the 5th on Caruso.
Well, whenever Oklahoma City switches, they switch up. They're switching to take something away. And, you know, a terrific job by Caruso, except for the late reach in. The last thing you want to do in this situation, you don't want to give up an open three. You don't want to foul.
Gordon for 2 free throws. Aaron Gordon with 11 in the ball game, and that has been the story. Some critical misses here from the line in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Jokic missed 2, and then Gordon was 1 of 2 before that miss. That's really hurt Denver down the stretch. You have to think fatigue might play a little bit of a role in that.
Westbrook, Watson, and Strawther who only got 5 minutes off the bench. Pretty much the bench for the Denver Nuggets. Aaron Gordon with 12.
Main thing now for Oklahoma City, get a good block out here. Don't give up an offensive rebound, but also inbound the ball cleanly.
Gordon tried to miss intentionally, and we're going to have what appears to be a lane violation.
It looked like Jokic was in first, but they're going to jump it up.
Up at midcourt, says Sean Wright. This kind of happens a lot. It's interesting when they called it. That time, the result is a jump at midcourt with 8.8 to go. Nuggets win the tip, down 6. Gordon trying to find the handle. Banks in a 3. It's a 1-possession game with 1.6 to go. And Coach Daigneault is not going to take any chance or risk here. Calls a timeout. Aaron Gordon keeping hope alive for Denver.
That's the kind of game it's been.
Yes.
Aaron Gordon, after getting this jump ball, couldn't find the handle. And Hartenstein trying not to foul. And all of a sudden gives up a backboard 3. That's the 3rd 3 made in this game by Aaron Gordon. He had 4 threes in game 3. Well, that gives him 15 points now to go along with 16 rebounds.
Remember game 1, folks, of this series when the Thunder apparently had the game put away until their rather questionable execution in late game fouling strategy bared the wrong result. Denver ended up stealing that one. So still 1.6 to go. Jay, what's the solution here for OKC? Just get it in, right?
Get it in bounds cleanly, and you can certainly have an opportunity to look further down the floor. So you can throw it. The main thing, you can diagram all the plays you want. You just got to get open.
Now Jokic is not going to guard the inbounder. They get it in to Williams. Fouled quickly with 1.0 to go. All he has to do is make 1 free throw out of these 2 attempts, and it'll be a 2-possession ball game.
Really smart by Cason Wallace and Chet Holmgren to run into the backcourt. That drags their defenders with them, gives a little more room for Jalen Williams to break free to get that inbound pass from Caruso.
Williams shooting 72% from the line in the playoffs. And there it is. That should just about do it. Jalen Williams with a subpar offensive game today with 9 points on 2 of 13. Make it 10 now, but Regardless, the Thunder will even this series at 2 games apiece as they storm into Denver and Ball Arena on Mother's Day and win 92-87 in a big bounce back game. Xander leading the way with 25 points to go along with 6.
Мерцали звезды, ночь курилась весной, цветами и травой. Река бесшумная катилась, осеребренная луной. Хотел я с этой ночью слиться, хотел в блаженстве без конца позволить счастьем насладиться душе сгорающей певца. Но все, к чему стремился пламень моей души, разбито вновь на дне речном. Я встретил камень и схоронил свою любовь. Река, птица, звезды, очи, она как на улице дождик и слякоть, не знаешь, о чем горевать, и скучно, и хочется плакать, и некуда силы девать. Глухая тоска без причины, и тут неотвязный угар. Давай-ка наколем лучины, раздуем себе самовар. А вот хоть за чайным похмельем в очи речи мои затеплят случайным весельем сонливые очи твои. За верность